जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवार धारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवार धारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवार धारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी श्री राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा गिरिधारी राधे राधा जय राधा गिरिधारी राधे जय राधा राधा गिरिधारी की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रविजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रविजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज श्रीला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नाम आचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरंग, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्रीला प्रभुपाद। Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam. My obeisances to His Holiness Badrinath Swami Maharaj, His Grace Dravida Prabhu, His Grace Vijaya Prabhu, and all the assembled Vaishnavas. I seek your blessings. With your permission, I can speak something.
Okay, do it. Take it away.
So we are reading today verse 18 from chapter 2 of Canto 6. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. नमो पंकज नाभाय नमो पंकज मालिने नमो पंकज नेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहे। टेक्स्ट 18। अज्ञानद अथवा ज्ञानद।
Prabhupada's method was you say one word, then you say the next, because you're actually trying to train the devotees so they can say it.
Okay. अज्ञानद अथवा ज्ञानद उत्तम श्लोका नामयत संकीर्तितम अघम पुंसो दहेद एधो यथानला। अज्ञानत out of ignorance.
Now you say each, you do it word for word. Sorry.
Okay.
You do the word. Now they've had a chance to say word for
Okay.
word. Now you say line by line.
Okay. And then we can repeat.
Times, and then you let them chant.
Okay. अज्ञानद अथवा ज्ञानद उत्तम श्लोक नामयत संकीर्तितम अघम पुंसो दहेद एदो यथा नलः। अज्ञानद अथवा ज्ञानद उत्तम श्लोक नामयत संकीर्तितम अघम पुंसो दहेद एदो यथा नलः। अज्ञानद अथवा ज्ञानद उत्तम श्लोक नामयत संकीर्तितम अघम पुंसो दहेद एदो यथा नलः। Tvagyana
Uttama shloka namayat
Uttama shloka namiyat
Sankirtitam agam pumso
Sankirtitam agam pumso
Hededyo yatanala
Dahed edo yato nalaha Agyana tatva jnana Uttama shloka namayat Sankirtitam agam pumso Ed eto yatanalaha Agyana tatva jnana Uttama shloka namayat Kirtitam agam pumso Tahit edho yathanalaha
Ajnana dattva jnana
Agyana datva jnana
Uttama shloka namayat
Uttama shloka namayat
Sankirtitam agam pumso
Sankirtitam agam pumso
Dahed edho yathanala
Dahet edho yathanalaha Agyana datva jnana Uttama shloka namayat Sankirtitam agam pumso Tahed edo yathanalaha Agyana datva jnana Uttama shloka namayat Sankirtitam agam pumso Dahed edo yathanalaha. Anyone online? Agyanat, out of ignorance. Athava, or. Jnananat, athva, or. Jnanat, with knowledge. Uttama shloka, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nama, the holy name. Yat, that which. Sankirtitam, chanted. Agham, sin. Pumsa, of a person. Dahet, burns to ashes. Edha, dry grass. Yatha, just as. Analah, fire. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As a fire burns dry grass to ashes, so the holy name of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes without fail all the reactions of one's sinful activities. Purport: fire will act regardless of whether handled by an innocent child or by someone well aware of its power. For example, if a field of straw or dry grass is set afire, either by an elderly man who knows the power of fire or by a child who does not know, the grass will be burned to ashes. Similarly, one may or may not know the power of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, but if one chants the holy name, he will become free from all sinful reactions. I also want to cover the second 19th verse also. Yatha gadam viryatatmam upayuktam yadrichaya agyanato api atma gunam kuryan mantro api udarta. Translation: if a person unaware of the effective potency of a certain medicine takes that medicine or is forced to take it, it will act even without his knowledge because its potency does not depend on the patient's understanding. Similarly, even though one does not know the value of chanting the holy names of the Lord, if one chants knowingly or unknowingly, the chanting will be very effective. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Western countries where the Hare Krishna movement is spreading, learned scholars and other thoughtful men are realizing its effectiveness. For example, Dr. J. Stilson Judah, a learned scholar, has been very much attracted to this movement because he has actually seen that it is turning hippies addicted to drugs into pure Vaishnavas. who voluntarily become servants of Krishna and humanity. Even a few years ago, such hippies did not know the Hare Krishna mantra, but now they are chanting it and becoming pure Vaishnavas. Thus they are becoming free from all sinful activities such as illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating and gambling. This is practical proof of the effectiveness of the Hare Krishna movement, which is supported in this verse. One may or may not know the value of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, but if one somehow or other chants it, he will immediately be purified. Just as one who takes a potent medicine will feel its effect regardless of whether he takes it knowingly or unknowingly. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakhaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha. Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayavicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivashadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. So these two verses are interlinked. So in text 18 it is said that as a fire burns dry grass to ashes, so the holy names of the Lord, whether chanted knowingly or unknowingly, burns to ashes without fail all the reactions of one's sinful life. So someone may ask, okay, what is the proof that the holy name is so powerful that it can burn to ashes all the reactions of one's sinful life? So the following verse, text 19, Srila Prabhupada has given the proof, the test of this mantra that he is mentioning, that the hippies who did not know the Hare Krishna mantra, but they were chanting it and they became pure Vaishnavas. Right? So that is why we say Krishna consciousness is a science. In science, what we do? We first read the theory, we do experiment in the lab, we derive results, we have conclusion. So similarly, Krishna consciousness is not a sentiment, it's a science. It has the cause and the effect. So similarly, Prabhupada very scientifically in the previous verse also, if you see text 15 and 14, he also gives a similar analogy. In the 14th verse, it was says, Sanketyam parihasyam va sthobam helanam eva va vaikunta nam grahanam asheshaga haram vidu. That in whatever way you chant the holy name, whether it is chanted jokingly or neglectfully or as a musical instrument, one is immediately freed from reactions of unlimited sins. So one may say, okay, this is all fine, this is all theory. Show me the practice. What is the reality? So in the next verse, in the translation it says that if one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune such as falling from the top of a house, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, being afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon, one is immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. So here, this is a test, this is a proof of what the Shastra is saying. So it is so systematic and so scientific. So I was hearing one lecture of Prabhupada of the same chapter, and he was very nicely mentioning that at every step in this world there is, padam padam yat viptam natesham. At every step there is danger. And what it means is that we should start early. Like Prahlad Maharaj says, we should start at a very young age. Kaumaram acharet pragyo. And why we should start early is because this human life is very rare. Durlabham manusya janma. So there are so many species of life, 8,400,000, and this species of life which is human being, it is very rare. So it is therefore very important to understand what is the goal of life, why are we here. And in this human form of life, the scriptures tell that one should live according to the Varnashram Dharma. Varna and Ashram. As we know, there are different Varnas, like Brahman is there, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and Ashram. One may be a Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, or Sannyasi. So, and the purpose of all these Varna and Ashram is to serve the Lord. The word Ashram comes from the word Ashray, which means to take Ashray or shelter of the Lord. So, this is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, that the purpose of Varnashram is to worship Vishnu. So once Mother Parvati, she asked Lord Shiva that whose worship is the best? So Lord Shiva says, Aradhanam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhana Param. He says there are different kinds of worships that one can do, but the best worship is of Vishnu. Vishnu Aradhana Param. He doesn't say, Lord Shiva doesn't say my worship is the best. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam ekam sharanam vraja, that my worship one must do. So, but then later Lord Shiva says that better than that worship is Tadiya Nam Aradhanam, that worship of my devotees. Worship of the devotees of Krishna is higher than that. That is the highest. So although we are discussing here the glories of chanting, but I also wanted to bring the subject matter of the attributes that a devotee should possess that allows him to chant nicely, where he can actually benefit fully from the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. What qualities one should have in order to truly understand the power of the holy names of the Lord. What should be our character, how a devotee should behave. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya updekshantite jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. That one should approach a person who is tattvadarshi. He knows the tattva, he knows the truth, he knows the reality. And manushyanam shasreshu kasyat yatati siddhaye. So a human being can achieve siddhi. What is siddhi? So Prabhupada explains the meaning of siddhi in this verse is aham brahmasmi, to know that I am not this matter, I am not this body, I am the soul. So that is tattva, that is aham brahmasmi, that is the true meaning of brahmasmi. So this human form of life is so rare, and to understand who we are, we have to approach humbly to a person who can answer those questions. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. And in Brihad Bhagavatam, which is written by Sanatan Goswami, so Brihad Bhagavatam is the essence of the entire Bhagavatam. And we know Bhagavatam is the essence of all the 4 Vedas, Yajur Veda, Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Athur Veda, 108 primary Upanishads, and the Brahma Sutras, the Vedanta Sutra, Itihasas, Mahabharat Purana. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. And then Brihad Bhagavatamrit is the essence of the Bhagavatam. So Sanatan Goswami is speaking about the qualities that a devotee should have. So he said one of the most important qualities that a devotee should have to properly be able to chant the holy names of the Lord is his capacity to appreciate other devotees. That is the quality that he is speaking about. That is the essence he is speaking about. So Krishna also says, Mad Bhaktya Puja Abhyadika. He says that those who are living in the line of my compassion, who are following in my instruction, if we serve those devotees, then that is very dear to Krishna. Mad Bhaktya Puja Abhyadika. And we also see, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also laid emphasis on Gopi Bharte or Pad Kamale or Das, Das Anudas, to be the servant of the servant. If we see from Ramayana, right, Shatrughan, although Lakshman was serving Lord Ram directly, but Shatrughan was indirectly serving who? Bharat. Bharat was serving Lord Ram. So sometimes, Shatrughan is like the servant of the servant. And Hanumanji, he is also the servant of Lord Ram. So he is glorified so much. So this quality of the capacity to appreciate other devotees is very integral to devotional life. And there is an example of one of the baseball managers. So he was like one of the top 5 baseball managers in America. So there was this team from New York who was, most of the time like losing. And they hired this baseball manager. And he trained all his team. He said that whenever you lose, don't get upset, don't worry. What you have to do is 2 things. First is, you must be happy for the winning team. You should cheer and be joyful that, oh, they won. And at the same time, learn some lessons from them, that how they won and how you failed. So you should first be happy for them. You should not be envious, not be jealous. Be happy for the victory. At the same time, learn how you lost and how they won. So do a root cause analysis, we call it RCA, of the whole event. And slowly, they did this, and that team was the most successful team of baseball. So it was one of the most winning teams because they were a well-wisher of everybody. So that is one very important quality, how we can actually grow. When we see others doing something great, we see the hand of Krishna in that. We say, oh, Krishna has empowered this devotee or this person, that he's doing such a nice kirtan, he's doing such a nice worship, he's cooking some nice prasadam. Let me also go and learn from him. Let me also grow. So that is how, appreciation actually helps us indirectly. And if somebody is having those qualities, then Krishna is very much pleased by them. How can Krishna be pleased by anyone? Because Krishna is the proprietor of everyone and everything, but still he is pleased by such people who are behaving in that way. Because he is saying that I am controlled by the love of such devotees who are living this life, following my instructions of love and compassion for others. And that is the nature of love in the purest form. We see the example of Jatayu from Ramayana. So we all know that Ravana, he took Mother Sita in his Pushpak Viman, and Jatayu saw, and Jatayu went to Ravana and started fighting with him. And Ravana eventually cut off the wings of Jatayu, and Jatayu felt in blood, and he was like lying down. And Lord Ram came to him, and Lord Ram asked him what happened. And he was lying in the lap of Lord Ram with all the blood and everything. And his mouth was decorated with the name of Lord Ram. And he left his body. Although from material perspective, he is a failure because he lost the battle, right? But from spiritual angle, he was actually victorious because he did his best. He put all his effort to save Mother Sita, to do a selfless service to Lord Ram. And Lord Ram himself did the last ride for Jatayu. So that is the kind of pure love that Krishna is looking for. And the lives of devotees are most dear to the Lord. So there is an example of Srila Prabhupada and George Harrison. George Harrison spent a long time with Srila Prabhupada. He was sitting for a long time and he was taking guidance. And after that, Prabhupada asked him to write songs, about Krishna. And one of the songs that George Harrison wrote was, Lord, love those who love the Lord. I was watching that song on YouTube. It's a very beautiful song. Has anyone heard that song? Lord, love those who love the Lord. It's by George Harrison. There is a YouTube channel of George Harrison also where you will find all such songs that he had written. And when Gopakumara, he returned to the spiritual world, Krishna is running to embrace him, and Krishna is crying. And Krishna is saying that, oh, I know how much you had to go through. Because Krishna is in everybody's heart. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hirdeshe arjuna tishtati. Krishna is saying, my dear Gopa Kumara, you had to go through so many problems, so much pain just to come here. I am so grateful to you. And so that is the love of Krishna, because he becomes the controller. He becomes the controller of the one who loves him. That is the nature of pure love. He gets controlled by such devotees. So I also quickly wanted to share one story of Parashar. So Parashar was a disciple of Ramanujacharya. So this story basically tells what qualities one should have to truly understand himself. So as we know, Ramanujacharya is in South India. You know, he is a great saint and acharya, and it's been now 1,000 years, since he was there. So his actually body is still preserved in Srirangam temple in South India. Just like in Egypt, you have these mummies. His actual body is there. It's 1,000 years old now, and it's a big temple, like 150-acre big temple, and a lot of pilgrims, come there every year. So this Parashar was a disciple of Ramanujacharya, and in the town of Srirangam, what happened is there was one big debater who came, and he was like very much proud of himself that I know everything, I can defeat everybody. So he challenged everybody in the town that, okay, let's see who can win me in debate. Like in those days, there wasn't like baseball or cricket or soccer or anything. The only thing to challenge somebody was debate. That was considered as to prove your prowess. So this debater came, and he was there in the town, and nobody came forward. So this Parashar, who was just like very young, he came and he said, my dear sir, I have a question from you. Let me see if you can answer this or not. So this debater was very much angry. He said, go get lost from here. You still have your mother's breast milk on your mouth. Get out of here. I won't debate with you. And he said, my dear sir, if you are such a big debater, then you are also full of knowledge. Then why are you differentiating with the body? Although I am a small body, then one who is knowledgeable, he doesn't care about age or caste or creed or anything. Then he picked up a handful of sand with all the grains of sand, and he said, can you tell me how many grains of sand are there in my fist? So this debater was like surprised, and obviously he couldn't answer anything, and he said that I don't know. And Parashar said that one who is knowledgeable, he is very much humble, just like a tree which has a lot of fruits. That tree is little, bent. But one who is very proud of himself, he is like a tree which is quite erect. So you are just like that tree, although you have knowledge, but you are so arrogant. And the tree, would you say the tree is? It is not bent, it is not humble, like it is without the fruits. The tree is. Without fruits, it doesn't bend? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one who has knowledge is like a tree with the fruits. Okay. Yeah. And then he threw that grain of salt, and he said that you should be humble. If you have knowledge, you should be humble. That is the beauty of a person who has knowledge. So Parashar said, and then Parashar was so much eloquent in whatever he said that this debater, he said, I want to accept you as my guru. I am your disciple from now. And then a few years later, there was this another disciple of Parashar who actually asked this question which I was telling. What are the qualities of a person who wants to understand the true purpose of life? So Parashar said that this question can only be answered by someone who is self-realized, and I am not self-realized. So what you have to do is, you have to go to Tirupati. So in Tirupati, there is a great saint called Anantacharya. So you go to him, and he will answer this question, that what are the qualities that you should possess to truly understand who you are. So he said, okay, I'll go. So from Srirangam to Tirupati is like 400 miles. and he had to cross like 7 mountains which are infested with tigers, leopards, poisonous snakes, and a lot of mosquitoes. So he had to cross through these mountains just walking. And he went there, and he was serving in the ashram. He was living in the hermitage of Anantacharya. And 6 months passed, and his answer was still not addressed. So once what happened that Anantacharya invited all the people from the nearby villages to have a nice feast and kirtan and lecture and everything. So he invited people from all around the villages, and they prepared a lot of prasadam. And the disciple of Parashar, he was serving everybody prasadam. And so first batch, second batch, he kept serving all the devotees. So it was so late at night that eventually, when everybody was done eating, so he sat down to eat prasadam. That time Anantacharya said and came, "If I remember correctly, you had a question." He said, yes. He immediately left his plate and he got up. He said, "I had this question. What are the qualities that I should have to truly understand who I am?" So, and then the reply that came from Anantacharya that one should be like salt, one should be like chicken, and one should be like a crane. He couldn't understand anything. What does that really mean? So he immediately jumped when he heard this answer, and then he went back to his guru. He again came back to Srirangam to meet his guru Parashar to ask that what it actually means, all these things. So he again came back and crossed those 7 mountains, and he asked, what is the meaning of this? So when he told that, Anantacharya told that you should be like salt, chicken, and crane, then Parashar immediately jumped. Chicken. Chicken, yeah. Salt, chicken, and...
God, that kind of chicken?
Yes. And then he told his guru Parashar that this is the answer I got. Parashar immediately jumped with ecstasy and said, "Wow, what a beautiful answer. It contains everything." So, and he said, "Okay." Yeah. I mean, you can guess. So.
Amoga wants to guess.
So he said, "Okay, what is the meaning of salt? I couldn't understand it. I'm waiting to hear what is salt." So he said,
"Flavor of everything."
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, right, Maharaj, yeah.
So explain.
Yes. So he said one of the qualities of salt, like Maharaj said, is to bring up the flavors, right, in everything. So it is invisible. Salt, when you put in the preparation, it is invisible, but it does so much. It brings the flavor of, say, if you cook paneer or kofta or whatever, it brings out the flavor of everything. And how many people taste the salt and say, "Prabhu, today the salt is fabulous"? Have you? I have never heard that. Prabhu, you made a nice.
I don't taste it and I complain, or I taste too much and I complain.
Yeah. So it never expects recognition. The salt never expects recognition. Similarly, a yogi who is situated in dharma, he wants to do so much for satisfaction of Lord and other devotees that he doesn't want, anything for himself. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that I am the intelligent of the intelligence. So we are the caretakers, and it is entrusted to us as caretakers in a spirit that samsiddhir haritoshnam, that we want to please the Lord. And that is the spirit that devotee should behave. And another quality of a salt is that salt has to be balanced. If it is too less, then not good. Too much, obviously, it's worse. So similarly, we have to be balanced in life. What it means is, if we want to truly understand who we are, we have to balance our life. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, it said that do not eat too much or do not sleep too much, and balance your work, recreation, and everything. And then lead by satsanga, sadachar, and sadhana, like balance your work life, family, body, health, spiritual health. So when challenges comes, we have a tendency to go to extremes, but we find a balanced approach, to that problem. And third lesson we can learn from salt is that salt melts into the preparation. It melts into the preparation. It loses its identity from the preparation. So what does it really mean? It means that when we separate our caste, our nationality, our ego, our ahankar, when we go beyond our ego, It's like salt. We can actually experience a real relationship with God and other living beings. Okay, so after salt, chicken. Can anyone tell the quality of a chicken? What does it do? I'm giving one hint. So if there is a heap of garbage,
Wakes us up.
huh?
Wakes people up in the morning.
That's a rooster. It's a chicken, yeah. That's
Giving us a hint.
yeah. So hint is, if you have a heap of garbage, the chicken will go there. What will it do?
You'll find the one seed of value.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Bol. It will find out. It will leave the garbage. It will only find the good seeds and eat it. So what does that mean? That person has to be Saragrahi Janardhan. He chooses the good qualities. He only looks at the good qualities. Srila Prabhupada went to Haight-Ashbury, right, and the lower east side of Bowery. But he saw a little spark of the potential to love Krishna and everyone. And he fanned that spark. So he saw the potential that we never saw, like none of us never saw that he could help us overcome the trash of immortality. But Prabhupada saw that spark. So similarly, like a chicken, we can actually see the good in others. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur actually said that I see fault in others as I am honeycombed with my own fault. So we should be seeking the essence and not the distractions. So third thing is the crane. He said one should be like a crane. So can anyone imagine what is the quality of a crane?
You're looking at me?
You know all the answers, Maharaj.
Patient and looking focused on the goal.
Awesome, awesome.
No difficulties.
Yes, Maharaj, yeah.
All right.
So the crane stands on one leg and it is, looking at the fishes that are passing by in the river or wherever it is. And as soon as it sees a big river,
Not a big river, but a big fish.
big fish, yeah. All the fishes are passing by, so it just gobbles a big fish. So similarly, there are hundreds of fishes that are passing by. The crane will patiently wait, like Maharaj said, patiently wait. And it is watching, and as soon as the big fish comes, it will immediately pounce upon it and it will eat it. So similarly, we get into anxiety about little things, we get into quarrel for small things, even our loved ones. And our tendency is looking for, like, if there are problems like pebbles, we make it like mountains. So we are endlessly distracted. So like the crane, we have to be very focused that what is really important for us. And we should focus on that. So these are the qualities that I wanted to share. And
Could you mention the three again?
so salt,
Salt.
chicken, and crane. And then he also said like you. One person should be like you also in the answer. I forgot to mention that. So why you? Is because you patiently waited for 6 months. Even though you didn't got answer from Anantacharya, you waited. And you had so much enthusiasm that you served all the devotees. And by putting them before yourself, and you had the eagerness to serve. That is the quality of seva. So these are the 4 qualities one must possess. So I also had one more story, but I think that we are running short of time, so it's okay.
Is it a short story?
It's a
It was great.
It was a story about Al Capone. Does anyone know Al Capone? Easy Eddie from Chicago.
It's a surprise. How are we going to get another Ramanujan?
You mean the great Charlie?
He was a great gangster.
Horrible person. Yeah.
Yeah. If you know the story, then it's okay. I mean,
No, we know about it.
You know a lot of stories, but not in your gut.
okay.
We're trying to see how you can pull something gold from an unclean place. When you learn from Al.
Yeah, so Al Capone, as we know, was one of the biggest gangsters in Chicago area. And he did all kinds of ugly things, bad things. He was breaking all the laws and he was murdering people. He was taking money illegally by all means. And he had a attorney, his name was Easy Eddie. Easy Eddie, yeah. So he was the attorney who was helping him get out of all the bad things he was doing, because he was very strong lawyer, attorney, whatever you call. So, and this Easy Eddie, he had a son. He had a son who was like maybe 10 years old, and he loved his son. But one day he realized that he's not doing right. He's helping a wrong person. He's helping a sinful person who is doing all the bad activities. He's breaking the laws, trying to circumvent all the laws, government rules. But he had a lot of money. He had like blocks and blocks of property in the Chicago area. He had so much money. He had so many cars and everything. But Easy Eddie, the attorney, was not happy from within. He said, what am I doing? What kind of legacy, what kind of example am I leaving for my son? Once I leave, my son will not be proud of me. He will hate me. So I have to leave a character full of integrity and honesty where, he can be proud of myself. So one day he decided that he will go to the police and he will provide all the evidences against Al Capone so that he goes to jail. So he went to the police station, and he knew what will be the consequences. So he went to the police and showed everything. And when he was coming out into the car, there was all these gangsters, and they like shot him the whole body. That's how he died. This is true story.
What's the takeaway? Let's keep your mouth shut?
No.
What's the takeaway?
No. So there is one more story. So after that, I'll tell the essence.
Okay.
So this story is there, and second story. So you can tell me what is the connection between these two. So there was World War II also. In the World War II, there was a person who was flying like the fighter planes, and so Japan, they were fighting against Japan, and there were a lot of flights from Japan, and this person from the USS Lexington, he took off the flight, and he was halfway in the air, the United States, Air Force person. He was in the air, and he got a call from the control room saying that, your tank is half fueled. It's, you have to come back. But all these planes from Japan were still in the air, and he said, no, I cannot come back, because if I come back, these fighter jets will kind of blast our ship, the USS Lexington, which is the base for all the other aircrafts, and like 10,000 people are there. So he said, I cannot come back. And he kind of started shooting from his fighter jet to all these 5 different, planes, and he shot down all of them. And there were 5 more who thought, this person is crazy. And they left, they came, they came back. And this person came back to the base, to the ship, and he was awarded the highest presidential award for his bravery. His name was Bush O'Hare. After him, the Chicago airport is named Bush O'Hare.
He made it back, even though he was low on gas?
Yes, he still made it back.
Go on.
So the question is, what is the link between these two stories? Huh? No, what is the relation between these two stories?
Sacrifice for others? I don't know.
No. So I told about this. I will give a hint. There was a son of Easy Eddie. And Easy Eddie wanted to set a good example, being a good father.
So they live forever?
No. So this Bush O'Hare was the son of Easy Eddie.
Oh, was the son of, well, you left that out.
No, that's what the question I was asking. So I'm just now completing the whole circle, that he was the son that
He became a very moral person.
he became a very moral person because his father left a life full of integrity and honesty. He set a very good example for him.
Okay.
So and therefore he learned from it. He was serving in the U.S. As an air pilot, and then he made his country proud because of that. Just because he learned from his fathers.
One has to risk his life with a higher cost.
Higher cost, yeah.
So and if you set a good example, it's like pay it forward. It enhances the society, it flows down, everyone benefited from that one act of Easy Eddie. So many people were saved because of his son, Bush O'Hare.
Yes, Maharaj.
Okay.
So that is what we should, so as a devotee we should live a life full of integrity and honesty. And Krishna also said, Yat Yat Achrati Shreshtas. Like Prabhupada set an example, of an Acharya, full of character, morality, integrity, honesty. So similarly, we also have a great opportunity here at New Govardhan to serve Krishna and his pure devotees. And that is the gateway for the love of God, to get highest perfection and to chant the Maha mantra offenselessly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Yes, sir.
Just have a quick comment about Bush O'Hare
Yes, Maharaj.
and O'Hare Airport.
Yes, Maharaj.
When Prabhupada landed at O'Hare Airport, because in those days it was a center for distributing so many books. I mean, and it was a real rough. The airport people hated us. The baggage handlers punched out devotees. Oh, it was a very, very difficult. I can tell you some stories offline about the devotees in O'Hare. So Prabhupada knew that, and anyway, he knew a lot of books were being distributed. He knew it was a hard place, and the devotees were performing a lot of austerities. When he landed and saw the name, he told the temple president, "Oh, we're distributing so many books here. You should go to the manager and say they should change the name from O'Hare to O Hare Krishna." And Sri Govinda actually did it.
Oh.
And the guy's name was Buzz somebody who was in charge of the airport manager, and he practically had a heart attack. He began huffing and puffing. He was so angry. But they did, "Oh, you should just change the name to O Hare Krishna because we're distributing so many books." So that's just a little sidelight on O'Hare.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah, that was so nice.
Forgive me, Maharaj. That's because my editor and me. You may not know that O'Hare is spelled O-H-A-R-E.
Oh, Hare. Yeah,
H-A-R-E. That's it.
Thank you.
Prabhupada said.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I think it's one of the largest, most busy airport in the world, right? Maybe the second busiest airport after Heathrow. Anyone online? Anyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for discussion. So, we see that some people are very much spontaneously attracted to chanting, and some people, most people I think, have hard time chanting properly or attracted to even chanting. Even they endeavor, try, but it didn't work. So, how to understand this contrast?
Yeah. So, I remember Badrinath Swami Maharaj's class from last, I think, Gaura Purnima. He was mentioning that even Jagai Madai, they got the love for Krishna, and they started chanting so soon, although they committed so many sinful activities. So he was mentioning that they did not commit any offense, and they were living near the house of devotees. They would hear kirtan, right? So one of the important things is not to commit offenses, so if somebody is committing offense, then it is very difficult for them to chant. But if somebody is offenselessly chanting, then that helps. So I think that is one of the reasons. And association of devotees, sadhu sangha sarv shastra ko labha matra sadhu sangha sarv siddhi hoye. So constant association of devotees is also very important. Otherwise, there is so much of distraction that it is very easy to get, distracted. So I think that is second thing. Just like you have a TV, you have so many channels that are coming in, right? So it depends on you which frequency you want to tune into, right? You have hundreds and thousands of channels. So that is a choice. Like between B and D, birth and death, you have C, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, right? So C is the choice. So what you choose to, I may choose to do something else. It's my free will, and Krishna is going to let you do whatever you want because he has given us the free will. So it depends on what kind of choices we make. So second is, I think, association, and that is the most important thing. Like Prabhupada so much laid emphasis on association. He gives the example of that iron rod becoming hot, just acquiring the qualities of fire. That's also a choice. Yes, Prabhuji. I want to associate with friends who are into, whatever. I want to associate with devotees. That's my choice. I want to live near the temple. I want to come for the programs. I want to eat prasadam. I want to be in the kirtan. That's my choice. So, and then obviously eating, like there are ABCD again. A for association, B for book reading, Prabhupada book, C for chanting, and D for diet, prasadam. So all these 4 things, if we follow, then it will be very easy. Association, book reading, chanting, diet, prasadam. And D also is for deity worship, but like that.
And serving devotees.
In serving devotees, yes, Maharaj. That's why Prabhupada created all these temples, all these devotees, so that, everyone can take advantage of it. So, okay, yes, thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.